Hi everybody, it's Paralympian Jake Templeton here from Australia, and in this week's home workout video, I'll be showcasing exercises related to stability and control. So 6 minutes of 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. Now my first exercise is very much a balance and stability exercise, which as you can see, my balance isn't great, perhaps due to my vision. But I need to work on this because it is something that is one of my weaknesses. So here we're just balancing on one leg, extending that back leg as far as we can, trying to point the toes and extend the leg, trying to get that tabletop horizontal position for our leg and back as well, and trying not to rotate through the hips as we do this. So if you have that great stability, you can reach overhead into a streamlined position as well, which then becomes very relevant to swimming. So balance, but also in that swimming related or swimming specific position as well. So moving on to the second exercise. Now each of these exercises does target stability or control in one way or another, and I've tried to make it as relevant to swimming as possible. So with swimming, we do need rotation, and hence this exercise, lying on the back, arms to side. Try not to press too much into the ground with your arms or your hands. This will make it easier. So just rotating side to side, the legs being as straight as possible, and just trying to keep that upper body really still to focus on the rotation. So moving on to exercise number 3 now. Many people do this on their back, trying to keep the wrist flat on the ground. But to mimic something that might be similar to freestyle or butterfly, I've done this actually lying on the stomach. So try and keep your forehead or your chin on the ground, keeping that neck nice and neutral as best you can, and trying to keep the wrist nice and flat and the forearm nice and flat there as well. Bringing the arms down to about 90 degrees bend at the elbows and the shoulder there, and then trying to extend up to the top into a streamlined position, keeping the wrist nice and flat, keeping the forearm and the upper arm at the same distance above the ground at all times, to just try and keep that control. It will actually be quite challenging, and you'll get a bit of a burn towards the end of that movement. So moving on to the second half of our routine now, we've got another core exercise for control, and that is single leg lowers. So keeping both legs at the top, try and keep them as straight as you can. Doesn't matter if there's a little bit of a bend, and then lowering one at a time and bringing back up to the top. So try and get the heel to touch the ground. You can point your toes more than I am here if you wish. That will help to get a bit of a stretch while you do it and create a bit more of a workout on your core muscles. But the greatest part here is to exercise that control and stability. So nice and slow, none of these exercises need to be done too fast, remembering that the aim for this whole routine is stability and control. So the second last exercise is shoulder taps. So you can widen your base of support, keeping the legs a little bit wider than perhaps you would have if you were doing push-ups. And then one arm at a time, just tapping your opposite shoulder with your support hand, creating that stability and balance there for you. So try not to rotate from side to side too much. You will probably rotate a little bit, but if you're really struggling, widen your legs, that base of support, and try and keep that tabletop position of your back as well. Try not to roll the hips too much, try not to arch the back too much, and try and keep that tabletop position. You could almost put a weight plate or something on your back and it wouldn't roll off. That's the aim for that movement, whilst achieving the goal of tapping the shoulder each time as well. So the final exercise is squats with overhead streamline reach with each squat. So reset each time. You don't have to keep the arms overhead. I have quite poor ankle mobility, so from this repetition, I will actually start to lift my heels off the ground. So be safe with this. That's something that I've acquired good control with that over time, but at the same time, my ankle mobility is quite poor, so I am trying to work on that daily. Usually I would use blocks. I don't have them available in this routine, but try and keep that balance with each repetition. Try and keep that back nice and upright, as vertical as you can, but also be mindful of the knees and exercise control. All the best, and thanks for watching.